So we have our final guest, and um, I've been connected with this particular author for a while. I don't think I've never met him. I don't think, but don't quote me.
I
But
I've met Mr. Roy. It's been
have
a long
you?
time.
I don't know if I have or not, but he might remember if we did. But anyway, we're welcoming Roy Glenn to Black Authors Matter TV.
Um, you seem to be
Uh-oh.
muted.
Well, he's not muted. Maybe his
It
volume is
might be
down.
his earphones or something.
Maybe your volume's down because he's not muted.
Mhm. Okay, well, while Roy is figuring that out, I am going to share how I met Mr. Roy.
Okay.
But my first time doing a book signing in Atlanta, Georgia. My publicist has set it up, but for some reason, that particular bookstore, I don't know if they didn't know it was coming or maybe the manager forgot. I don't know what happened, but some kind of way I'm talking to the manager trying to let them know I'm supposed to have a book signing that day. And then all of a sudden, I heard a deep voice behind me saying, "She can sign with me." And it just happened to be Roy Glenn behind me. And that was how I met him.
Oh, okay. I don't think I've ever met Roy, but I see him online all the time, and we're
Yeah.
connected.
And I'm thinking he's still
Mhm.
having issues because I see a troubled look on his face.
Yeah, and you know what? I just made you the co-host, which I forgot to do earlier.
It's okay. You don't love me.
I'm gonna have to start doing that habitually. So, Roy, can you? Um, are we okay with sound? I don't know if he can't. Can you hear us?
Yeah, he can hear us, but we
Yeah.
can't hear him.
Okay. Do you have another device you can try logging on, like your phone, and
Or
just
maybe take your earphones off and see if it might be something in that.
Huh?
See?
well,
I
I
just
hear
heard
I hear a voice now.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
yes.
Well, we're good then.
Okay.
Hi,
Well,
everybody.
Hi, Roy.
I was kind of distressed for a while there.
I saw the
well,
look on your face.
things happen, and this show is live, and when it's live, anything can happen. And so we're
Yeah, because I was
prepared.
looking at the mic the whole time. I'm like, why is my mic off? And I'm trying to figure it out. I'm like, or say, well, maybe the site has my mic muted. So I just went
No,
with it.
no, we didn't have it. We didn't have it muted. But anyway, thank you so much for being a guest on the show. And like Rhonda was telling how she met you in Atlanta the first time she met you.
And if my memory is correct, and sometimes it isn't, I met you in Houston. You guys have a store in Houston?
Yep.
Yeah, used to. We used to. Uh-huh.
So my wife and I, when we got married, we our honeymoon tour was book signings. So we went on to book signings in Georgia, Florida, Louisiana, Alabama, and our last stop was at your store in Houston.
Oh wow. Okay. So I have met you in person.
It was a
I think
long time
it
ago.
was a long because we haven't had the store in we closed the store in 2010.
Yeah,
It's
believe it or not, Gwen, I've
25.
never been to your store. I knew you had a store, and I used to order my books through you sometimes, but I never actually got a chance to visit your store. And then you went and closed it down. And then I had
we
the,
we did it for 10 years, and I
yeah.
tell you what, having a bookstore independently is not easy, and it's even harder now. And there were two of us, my husband and I, making a living doing that. And then things, but we always kept our ear to the ground, and we evolved. We always pivoted, and so we still pivot. We keep our ear to the ground because you have to do that when you're in business, when you're an
You most
entrepreneur.
certainly do. This was back in 2002. So
Okay, yeah. So
No.
see, that was when we opened the store in 2000. So and we closed it in 2010. So it was a really, when people tell me they want to open a store or they try to do a store or whatever, they're thinking about doing a store, I can at least give them some advice if they want it, you know. So that was, I figured that was the experience, is for me to have some wisdom to share with other people. And I met, like, and you all who watch the show know that a lot of the people that come on the show are people I've known for 20 something years because of the store. That was really the website and the store. That was how I met all these people originally. Now I meet a lot of them when they come to the book festival. So, but I've been in books. I've been in this space for 25 years. And so it's, I can share a lot of information. And I met just about everybody. You know, it's very few people that I haven't met at some point that are, you know, writers, writing books, whatever. So tell us about your career, Roy. You were doing a book tour in 2002 with book signings. So you were, I'm assuming it was your books.
Yeah, I was self-published then, and
Okay.
that was how I started out. I started out self-published, and for some reason my camera just went out.
I'm gonna say, Roy, where'd you
Yeah,
go?
where'd you go?
I'm still here, but for some reason my camera's gone.
Your computer will not let you be great tonight.
No, it's not. It is just where.
There you
There we
go.
go.
You're back. You're back. Okay. All
Okay,
right.
so and I was listening to LaJill's I Met Carl story, and I have a Carl I Met Carl story too. So I was living in Atlanta and I was self-published, and someone encouraged me to go to an event that and they had authors. They had, and the first one I went to was Donna Hill, and I met Donna Hill there.
Okay.
And the next month they had Carl. So I went to see Carl, and they allowed everybody to get up and do their stump speech. So I get up and I do my stump speech, and I'm looking at Carl. Carl's sitting in the back, and I see Carl nodding. So I'm like, yeah, I got him. So at the end of the event, everybody's going up and saying hello to Carl, and Carl says, "I want to talk to you." So I sit down, and Carl talked to everybody. Everybody was gone by the time Carl got around to me. And so he saw, like, said, "I'm interested in your book, and I'm going to read it. I'm going to California. And I'm going to read it, and I'll get back to you." And he called me up and said that he was going to publish the book. And after that, Carl and I became friends, and then he when he started Urban, he said that that I was the second book that Urban Books published. So
Oh,
Lachelle was
okay.
first, and my book was second. Is the Crime was second, and I used to tour with Dwayne and LaJill when we first started out.
Okay. Dwayne Joseph.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I
Yep.
remember Dwayne too. I
Mhm.
went to his book launch in Baltimore. So
And he
He
went
used
on
to
a
go along
cruise
with
with
me.
us. He went on an Arthur cruise we had. I don't know what year it was though. Maybe, I don't know. I can't remember what year it was, but maybe 15 years ago, somewhere in there. And he was one of the authors that was on the cruise with us. And so, but he stopped writing. He just like abruptly stopped. I don't know if he started back, but he
yeah.
abruptly stopped several years ago.
So
So
how many
I
books do
didn't,
you have now, Roy?
yeah, I was going to ask him that too.
Yeah.
It's in the 70s.
Yeah, I know it's
Seven
quite a bit. I
zero.
didn't realize it
Seven
was
zeros,
70.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't realize you had that many books either. Now,
I write, therefore I am.
what is your so all of your books in the same genre, or
I've written 8 romances, but all the rest of them are gangster mystery suspense. And there's a couple that I've written. I did a series called Suspense. It's it's a whodunit, a government whodunit. So And
Well,
Okay.
that's
there's a book,
timely.
One Last Hit, On the Run, and This Masquerade. But other than that, everything else is gangster, mystery, suspense, fiction.
Okay. Now you have a new book called This Time Baby that came out
Yeah.
in December. So
Hmm.
you have a copy of your book with you,
I
handy,
most certainly do.
cover.
I went downstairs and got one when you were having everybody else get there. I'm like, let me go get my book.
Well, at least
You
you
should
listen
have brought it
and
with you at the
learn.
beginning, Roy. How y'all be coming on the show to talk about your book and then don't
And
have
don't
your book
have the
with you?
book.
You know, I just recently moved and I can't find anything
Mm.
because
That
there are
happens
boxes
when
in the
you move.
garage and I haven't gotten to all the boxes. So I'm unpacking stuff one box at a time. And I brought some of the books up here because I got a bookcase up here and there's four bookcases downstairs. We got plenty of books.
Yeah.
And I was looking through the stack here and I'm like, I know I brought that book up here. So I'm like, okay, well, let me go downstairs and get one. Because I got a box of them downstairs.
Yeah, that's the thing about moving. And Rhonda, you recently moved. I don't my plan is to never move again.
I said the
And
same thing. I don't want to move. I mean, moving into this
Ever
house was
again
a
in life.
doggone adventure.
yeah, I mean, and there's things that you lose and you never find them. It's
And
something
there are
about
things
it.
that I've come to the idea that there are things that I just do not need. Because we've
Well,
Yeah.
been here
that's
for
true.
months now, and I haven't seen these things, and a lot of stuff we haven't seen since we moved the last time. So it's been over
Right.
a year and
That's
a half
true.
since we've seen some of this stuff. We do not need that stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
But no, but if you find it, you're going to convince yourself that you need it.
Yes, that's why I don't want to find it. That's why take it all to a yard sale or donate it to Goodwill, do something else with it, but let's not bring it in the house. Because if we bring it in the house, we will rationalize why we need to keep it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, that's the
absolutely true.
thing. That's the thing about stuff. I try to weed out things periodically. Clothes, do Goodwill every twice a year. And my rule is if I haven't worn it in 5 years, it goes.
It got to go. I got a
It
closet
goes.
full of clothes because I retired, so I don't go to work anymore. So all the shirts and ties and all this nice stuff is just sitting there,
Hanging
all
there.
nice and neat in the closet. Like you should be sleeping with this because you are never going to wear it. You're a bum now. I
Yeah,
wear
or not
flip-flops
all
and
of it.
shorts
You know,
all
you
the
don't need to
time. I
wear
live in
all.
Florida.
Yeah. Now you moved from New York. You're from the Bronx originally, right?
Yes,
You're from your
from
bio.
the
And I
Bronx, and I lived in Georgia for 20 years, and we went back to New York when I was working for Urban, and now we're down here in Florida.
okay.
And you've been
So
in Florida for a little minute now, haven't you?
15, 16, 17 years now,
oh,
Okay.
okay,
since
a good while.
2007.
Okay, so the weather's different.
Yeah, I'm here for the weather.
Yeah.
I'm here for the weather.
Yeah.
In
My family
Jacksonville, right?
lives, most of my family still lives in Atlanta, and I'd like to move back there, and they'd like me to move back there. And I'm like, yeah, but y'all got that whole traffic thing going.
Oh my goodness, the traffic in
It's
Atlanta is
horrible.
terrible.
It's horrible.
Yeah, I don't go to Orlando for just that reason.
Yeah. Well,
And
I
you
live in the
know,
And they
DC.
did
I
a
live
lot
in the
with the
DC
highway there, so
area.
it's better, but it's still bad
yeah.
because you
It can't
can't
be any
invite
worse
the
than the
world here
DC
and not
area.
expand your highway. It's just not. It doesn't make sense.
It can't be any worse than the DC area. The traffic here is horrible. It'll
Yeah,
take you an hour to go 15 miles.
yeah. So when my wife is from the DC area, and we used to go up there quite a bit, and we would just like, okay, when we get to a certain point, we'll just be crawling for the next 2 hours. We get
That's
as far
how them.
as
That's how it
Fredericksburg. We
is.
get as far as Fredericksburg or something like that on
Right
95,
on
85,
95. Is it
and that's
85 or
it.
95?
On 95, yeah, no, on 95, we're on
Okay.
95 by that point, and you're just gonna crawl for the rest of the way into DC.
That's exactly right. But
And I
now,
was like,
Roy,
we're
now,
leaving
Roy,
at
as much
4
as I
o'clock
would
in
love
the morning. It's
to
getting
keep complaining
ridiculous.
with you about the traffic, because I hate the traffic, the people want to know, because there's some people who are new to your books. They want to know what's your last name because you don't have it on the screen.
I'm Roy Glenn. I'm Roy Glenn. Let me go
Yeah.
and say that right now. My name is Roy Glenn. My books are available on Amazon.com and anywhere books are sold. I've got quite a few of them, so reading my books isn't a commitment.
So
Come on,
if someone
commitment.
was
Yes.
starting, if someone wanted to start reading Roy Glenn, let's say they've
Start with
never
the
read
first
it,
one.
they've never read any of your books, this and that would be me. Okay. So what book would be good to start with if they haven't? Since you have so many,
Start with
what
Is It
will
a
be a
Crime?
good
Right at the beginning.
start?
With Is It a Crime? Is It a Crime is my first book, and that's where you should start. I have a four-book throwback series where I take Mike Black back to when him and Bobby Ray were young and just getting started.
Mm.
But you should start with Is It a Crime?
Is it a crime? So
Is It
run
a
to type
Crime?
that
It's
in
when
the
he meets the
chat.
love of his life.
Okay, right. Type that in the chat, and then so in case when I go to put stuff in my shopping cart, then I can
You got
add
to be
that.
ready for the type of books that Mike Black is in.
So
Mike
is it
Black was
still in print though?
Excuse me?
Is it a crime still in print?
Yes, it is. As a matter
Okay.
of fact, Erdboom Books just released the 20th anniversary edition of Is It a Crime?
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure that it's available. Okay, Ron, I'm sorry. So
no, no.
you were
I
asking them
just said I
something.
just wanted to make sure because Mike Black was a gangster.
Yes, Mike Black is still a gangster. He is a retired family man gangster, but he is a gangster.
Is his middle name Roy?
No,
I'm just playing.
no. And I've had to do it. I don't get to do it as much as I used to. But when I first started out, people used to ask me all the time, "You Mike Black and Arvita Shaw, right?" That's y'all. Like, no, I never ran a criminal organization in New York.
And what else? What else?
Say,
Keep going. You
I,
never.
I haven't killed I haven't killed large numbers of people. So no, this is not me. This is all a figment of my active imagination.
Okay. Now, were you writing full time when you wrote these 70 books? Were you doing it as a full time writer or were
No,
you doing it as a sideline?
most of the time I just retired 2 years ago. So most of that work was done while I was working. And I was on that self-published treadmill where it's to your benefit to drop a book every 90 to 120 days
Mhm.
because that's how you keep your money flowing because Amazon drops you a little bit of change every month and you want to keep your little bit of change going. So no, you drop another book. So a lot of that time I was self-published and on that treadmill and dropping books. You know, you get an idea, you write it and you go with it. So it helps that I write continuing characters so I don't have to recreate the wheel each time I come up with a storyline. A lot of
Okay.
my storylines are continuing, and I have the benefit, since there are so many of them, that I can go back and draw from other storylines and other experiences to feed those characters. So at this point, the characters kind of like dominate the storylines and tell me where their character wants to go at this point.
Okay. So do you have a favorite book or series that you've written among all the books? See, I had no idea you had 70 books. I
Um,
wouldn't have guessed
My
that
favorite
high.
book is always the book that I'm writing because
Okay.
I'm in love with that book
Yes.
and I'm into the characters and it's live or die at that point. So
Okay.
like yesterday, well actually this afternoon before I came on, I finished a ghostwriting project. So now I feel like, okay, what now? Like I need something to write because so I'm not creating anything. So I'm like, well, what am I do now? I don't want to watch television.
My television is white noise for me. I mean, it's on just for some noise in the background.
Because a lot of times that's what it's good for, is just noise in the background. So,
Right.
but I can't I can't write to television. It'll
Oh, see, I can, but it has to be true white noise if I'm writing.
Yeah.
yeah
It
It
has
has
I
to be
write
something that I'm
regular
not going to
TV.
just
that
stop
I'm not
writing and start
right,
watching.
right.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah. So
background.
because at some point you're going to
Well, if
Mm,
it's a show, you really can't get into it. So I normally will have something on, like Rhonda will tell you, I'll because I sleep with the TV on. I didn't used to years ago, but now, but it's something like the Food Network or something that's where it's not
right.
going to be some shooting or something blowing up, but it wakes me up. It's just like, flat, neutral, monotone. Uh, I might have reruns of Law and Order because there's no killing on the old ones. It's just the dead
so
body they find.
so
So
let me
anyway,
tell you, I now sleep with the television on because my wife sleeps the television on, and
okay.
she watches crime shows. So
Oh,
people are
okay.
getting killed all
Is it
night long
seeping
while I'm
into your
trying to
mind
sleep.
while you sleep?
Yeah, so I'm trying to sleep, and the people and now when she's not home, I turn the television off, and I can't sleep because now I'm used to having this low noise in the background.
Yeah.
So now I have to watch crime shows to go to sleep with. So
Oh, you
I'm
were so the crime shows.
I'm hooked now.
That's
I can't sleep
it.
without them.
It can become habitual. That's for sure.
Yeah, so what I've started doing, I headphone up. I put my Bluetooth in and in one ear, and I listen to my book at night. So I'm just constantly editing throughout the night. So I wake up in the morning like, yeah, I need to get this and I need to tap that. And this name was spelled wrong.
So do you are your books on audiobook?
And yes, they are. The new urban books are on audio. So um Motive for Murder, Cold Blooded, um, This Time Baby, and When It's Over are all on audiobooks.
Mm.
And no, I do not read them. I wish I could. If anybody is listening, I could read my own books, but I'd love to.
Yeah, you have one of those voices that
Yeah,
is
you have a great
distinctive.
voice.
Thank you.
Did you ever do radio work?
Yeah, in when I was in Atlanta in the 80s, I was on WCLK and Kiss 104 for a while.
Okay, see, because there's certain voices that are radio voices,
Yeah, this was a
and
radio
and
voice.
your voice is a radio voice.
This
I
voice
told
would
I
get me
told you when
in
I
any
first
You
job.
met
did.
you.
You did say that.
Yeah, all I
Mhm.
heard was she can sign with me, and I knew it was you.
Yeah, my voice is distinctive.
Yeah, it's almost like a Barry White type
Yeah, I used to be Barry White.
decibel
I was
level.
Barry White in the
You know?
70s and 80s, and then I became Darth Vader. And
Okay.
now then I became the insurance guy. No one knows what his name is, but I think he's Liberty Mutual or something, does the insurance commercials.
No, you're talking about that man. He was on Waiting to Exhale. Yeah, yeah, that's him.
No,
Nobody knows his name, but
no, no, no,
okay.
everybody, you sound like the insurance guy.
No, you don't. You're talking about the Allstate guy.
Yeah, is it
What's his name?
Allstate? Yeah,
He was in 24. I can't call
Yes,
his name right now,
yes.
but
And nobody knows his name.
I know it. I just can't call it right now.
I don't remember his name. I just know he was on Waiting. I just know he was in Waiting to Exhale.
He
He was
was.
Whitney. He was
He
Whitney
was.
Houston's
He was
boyfriend in
Whitney's.
Waiting to
He was
Exhale.
the married guy
Yeah.
that Whitney Houston was dating.
Yep.
Mhm. But he was in 24 as the president of the United States for
That's right.
five
That's right.
seasons.
I saw that.
And 24 is one of my favorite shows. I hadn't binged it lately, but I love SB and I like those kind of shows. and he was really good on it. Shoot, I can't call his name, but he was really good. And then what I think his name was Woodside. His last name was Woodside. Played his brother in
Okay,
there.
anybody who's watching the show, please remind
Yeah.
us this man's
Because you know somebody is Googling it right
Yes,
now.
I can.
right.
Yeah, I know, but I don't want to go. I don't want to have my attention distracted.
Because you know I want to. Like, what is he
Oh.
doing?
Yeah, but he and
Oh
he has.
shoot,
You
I've
have
been
a voice
talking to you
like
for so
his.
long, Roy. I forgot to put your link in the chat. I'm about to put your link in the chat so people can buy your book. Because somebody did want to know what they needed to start with because he said because 70 books.
Yeah,
And that's a
so
lot
Yeah,
of
I'm,
books.
I'm
They
a
don't know
load.
where to
what's your
start.
favorite?
I'm a load. If you want to read me, I'm a load. So if you go to
Okay.
Amazon, I'm on Amazon. So just go to Amazon or Barnes and Nobles. I don't
Yeah.
have a website, so you can't buy from me.
Because
But
somebody didn't put his book link in the chat, in the thing, so I'm gonna have to find it real quick.
And somebody put Engelbert, but that's not it. That's not the name of the actor we're talking about. I just can't call his name right now. That's gonna bother me. But anyway, Roy, what are your what's your 5-year window looking like for the next 5 years? What are you planning to do? Write 2 books a year, 3 books a year? What you plan?
right now, I'm committed to writing 3 books next year.
Ooh.
Okay. Okay. And they're
And
all gonna be gangster mystery thrillers.
um,
That's your lane that you like.
yeah, that's my lane. There is a story that's been gnawing at me to revive the character that I had in the suspense series, because I get to like characters and tend to like, okay, yeah, let me do another one. So the character
Okay.
I just wrote, I was going to kill her off at the end of the story, but no, I'm not killing her off. Sorry.
Well,
Um,
they can sometimes kill them off and bring them back. So,
did that already.
oh, okay.
Well,
Did that.
all right. So
And
a
go
couple of
ahead.
things, Roy. First of all, the actor's name is Dennis Haysbert.
Right. That's him. Somebody who
There we go.
who's
Somebody
been
I knew
here. That's
somebody
who
would
he
find
is.
it.
That's who he
And
is.
then the Social Book Club wanted to know what a standalone book is. And basically, what a standalone book is it's not part of a series. It's a book with new characters. It's basically an independent story. Would you agree with that definition?
Yes.
That you can recommend of yours.
A standalone that I've
Hmm.
written.
Yeah.
Wow. Hmm.
Or just start with the one you said.
Yeah, start with Is It a Crime?
Okay. Is it a crime? Okay. Well,
Is It a
Roy,
Crime?
where is
If
it?
you want to go all the way back to the beginning of the series, go to Hostile Takeover.
Okay. Hostile takeover. Okay. Is it a crime? Hostile takeover. And it's Roy Glenn, even though his last name isn't on the screen. Well, Roy, we're at the end of our time. We're at the end of the show, but we really appreciate you coming on and giving us an update on all the things you've been doing and the 70 books that you've written. I didn't know you had 70 books, but I find something new about people every time they come on the show. So anyway,
Well, thank you so much for having me. I had a wonderful time.
okay,
Well, we
well,
had a wonderful time with you.
we did.
Invite me back. I'll put my last name on the screen, I promise.
Okay, well, we'll do that. Let us know when you do your next book. We'll make it happen.
As a
Well,
matter of
no,
fact,
when
I
it comes
inquired
out.
about that today. So when I know, you'll know.
Okay, yeah, when it comes out, let us know. Okay,
Okay.
well, have a great night.
Good night.
Bye.
Okay.